Hello and welcome back to another session of Therapy and Panels. Stop me if you've heard this one. A 15-year-old student goes to a field trip, gets bitten by a radioactive spider. That boy gains superpowers, and then he gains the abilities of a spider and decides to eat all of his students, all the bullies, everyone who's ever picked on him, and try to lay eggs into someone he claims to be his mate. Obviously, we're talking about Spider-Man, right? Created by Clay McLeod Chapman and Eli Bonatti, the creation of the character is basically just using the thought process of Peter Parker and his character and just doing the exact opposite of what he would do. And basically, the rest is just the concept of the character of Greg Arkin from the hit TV show Smallville at the time. So let's kick into the Halloween spirit by starting off with Edge of Spider-Verse, issue number 4. The cover is really cool looking, giving off the old look and feel of some old horror movie posters, which fits perfectly for the kind of story this is. We begin the story introducing us to Patton Parnell, a normal, everyday teenager. And if by normal you mean incinerating ants with a magnifying glass and peeping on your next door neighbor while she's changing, then yeah, totally normal. It seems outside of auditioning for a future episode of True Crimes documentaries, he seems to be getting yelled at by his Uncle Ted all the time. While on a field trip to Alcor Industries, a girl named Sarah Jane, the girl he was watching change earlier, asks for his help with discovering illegal animal tests from the company, and it seems her boyfriend Gene is not too big of a fan about this whole situation. He's not jealous that he's spending time with his girlfriend. He just wanted to be the one to go illegally trespass into spaces he's not supposed to and save animals. She's very inconsiderate that way of not even asking him. When they sneak into the lab, an alarm immediately goes off, so while Sarah Jane runs to rescue as many animals as she can, Patton here gets fixated on a spider. Ignoring the obvious danger irradiated sign, he picks it up and it of course bites him. The two of them get caught and lectured and immediately are sent home. Sarah Jane, after learning about how Patton has no friends, parents, and an Uncle Ted that is hardly there for him and more than likely beats him, she starts to feel bad and asks to hang out sometimes. Oh, you poor girl, you just activated the incel inside him. Back home, he starts to feel sick, so Uncle Ted here, I guess, believes the best type of medicine is to beat the poor kid with a belt. Later that night, Patton goes to find some food and decides that the best thing to eat in the house was this poor little mouse. I guess it was either that or eating the leftover Domino's pizza Uncle Ted had in the fridge. The next day, the house gets covered in webs. Don't worry, Patton. It happens to all spider people when they come around your age. Totally normal. When Uncle Ted finally notices, he goes to question Patton, but gets turned into dinner for the young man instead. At school, he tries to act like everything is normal, including when picking a fight with Gene here. But that doesn't go too well, if I had to guess. And later on the day, he invites a little kid inside his house, declaring he found his missing dog. I'm sure that kid and that dog are totally fine. Cut to the next scene. Next scene. He then, later on that night, starts doing some research on the spider that bit him and discovers that the female spiders usually lay their eggs after biting into its prey. That's when we cue to Sarah Jane stopping by, worrying about Gene, and asking if Patton knows where he is, when Patton decides to throw on the old charm and immediately bites her into the neck. Whoa, Patton. It's 2025, man. At least ask for consent before you lay your eggs inside her. Come on, man. That's how you get canceled. She slaps him in the face, revealing his creepy bug eyes, as he then sheds his skin, revealing to be a giant man spider, and she of course runs for her life. She runs into his bedroom and sees a bunch of cocoons everywhere, one of them containing Uncle Ted. When Patton breaks into the room to eat her or harvest or lay his eggs, she is fortunately saved when Morlun appears. Long story short, he's basically an interdimensional energy vampire who feeds off the life energy of people with animal-based superpowers. I guess the spider is his favorite. His arrival gives Sarah Jane enough time to escape the place, as Patton has more than likely met his demise. The next morning, she wakes up in her room, believing the whole thing to be a dream, until she notices the big bite marks on her neck and something crawling inside of her skin. As it appears, Patton managed to leave spider eggs inside her, and they are hatching. Typical guy. They spend the night with you, knock you up, then they leave you before the babies are even born. Am I right, ladies? Well, that was the end of today's issue. And for my diagnosis, it's okay. It just feels like your every one out-of-the-mill horror story. Nothing really new or unique about this. And I felt like this could have been time for a much different, more unique take on a Spider-Man variant, since this was supposed to be build up for the whole crossover event that was happening at the time. And with that, that will have to be the end of today's session. Thank you all for attending. If you liked the video, please be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, I am the Super Guru signing off and having a good old month of spookies.